What is up, guys, and welcome to a very different video. Today, as you can see, I'm going to be ranking all of these 10 beauties. Today I'm going to be ranking all the 2021 F1 car liveries. You can see we've got 4 categories: garbage, average, great and peng. Before we get into today's video, all I ask is that you subscribe so you don't miss any of my brand new videos. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and join my Discord. Both links are in the description. And now, let's get on with today's video. So as you can see, I've got all 10 of the cars here down here. Now, first of the 4 categories, we're going to start off with a big one here. We're going to start off with one that's going right at the top in peng. And that is, of course, the Alfa Romeo C41. That is a lovely, lovely livery. I really like it, truly. I just think the way that they've switched around the white and the dark red is absolutely lovely. It looks so nice out on track. You know, we've seen today was the first day of pre-season. I've seen it out on track. It looks lovely. And to be honest, I would really like Alfa Romeo to move up the order a bit, because to see a car like that at the front or in the midfield would just look so nice. There's not much that I don't really like about that car. The car launch was lovely, and I think the fact that they've mixed it up a bit compared to, you know, like last year and the previous year, where they didn't really change it. This year they've gone, oof, as in, wow, okay, you know, this is something really different, and I really like it. So that's the Alfa Romeo. It's going in peng. It's absolutely lovely. Next up, we have the Alpha Tauri, the AT02. Now, here's an interesting one, because I really liked last year's Alpha Tauri livery. Like, truly, white and, you know, the dark blue or grey, whatever you want to call it. If I'd made this video last year, this would have gone in great. However, this year, they've got sort of more, you know, bluey grey, and then as the main colour, and then white as the secondary colour. And don't get me wrong, it looks smart, but I don't like it as much. And this might seem like a harsh decision, but for me personally, this is my own opinion, by the way. You can think what you want. Let me know your opinions down in the comments of all of these. But for me, this is going in average. I just think I preferred last year's livery a bit more, and I was a little bit underwhelmed when I first saw this livery. I don't hate it by any means. It's definitely not garbage. It's closer to great than it is to garbage, that's for sure. But I was just a little bit underwhelmed when I saw it. I wasn't massively impressed, and I can already feel the hate coming, but I did definitely prefer last year's livery a lot, and I'd have loved them to have stuck with that. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Alpha Tauri. Next up we have Alpine. Now, all I have to say of this one is that this is absolutely god beautiful. It's so nice. You know, the blue and the red, you know, sort of the colours of the French flag. And then, you know, you've got bits of, you know, sort of black and white here and there. It looks absolutely stunning. Out on track as well, it looks wonderful. You just cannot get enough of that car. It's just a sight to behold, and I absolutely love it to bits. It's so nice. There's not a single thing that I hate about that car. I think it was kind of a good idea that they rebranded from Renault. I mean, I know this team have rebranded a lot over the years. You know, let's say we've had Lotus recently, we've had Renault, and now we've got Alpine. But Alpine is like a really, you know, new bang. It's a design that really steps out, and it's really unique. And you can spot that car miles away. And that's what Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon are going to be driving this year. And, you know, I just can't wait to see it out on track. I think it looks absolutely brilliant. Moving on to Aston Martin now, obviously a British-based team, one of my, you know, home teams, if you like, because I'm obviously British. Aston Martin is a great livery, and it's not peng, and there's only one reason for that: the pink. The pink does not go at all well with the green under any circumstances, and this is a strong word, but I absolutely despise the pink. I don't think it's very nice, and it just doesn't go. I will be honest. They should have used maybe a colour that matches the green a bit better, like maybe a gold or a white, or even just a black. You know, just to cover it up, because if they did use one of those colours, then it would be peng. It's absolutely lovely. The shade of green they've used is brilliant. You know, it kind of resembles, you know, that traditional Aston Martin green. It's sort of a bit similar to Jaguar as well, sort of. But again, it looks lovely, the kind of metallic green. I think it's really nice, and again, it looks really good out on track, and it'll be great to see Vettel and Stroll driving this around circuits. like with these three, again, you can see they're all lovely, and I'd love to see them all out on track. You know, they just look brilliant. I really cannot wait for this season. You know, we've got such a big, you know, sort of variety of cars, car liveries. It looks brilliant. So, yeah. But now we're going to move on to one which I'm not quite so keen on, and that is the Ferrari. The Ferrari is a fairly average livery for me, similar to the Alfa Tauri, really. But let's just move straight over to the elephant in the room, and that is the green. Now, it's not visible on that picture, but obviously there is a green sponsor on the top of the engine covers, and that I do not like one bit. It just doesn't match the red at all. Apart from that, it's quite a nice livery, for sure. If it wasn't for the green, this would easily be a great livery. You know, the red mixed in, you know, with a bit of maroon, crimson, you know, at the back. It's sort of based off the Ferrari 1000th Grand Prix livery, which they wore at the Tuscan Grand Prix last year. It looks really, really good, don't get me wrong. I do like it, and again, the same with the number font you can see here. If you compare the two liveries together, they do look quite similar. But again, obviously, Ferrari, just traditional red. We weren't expecting anything else. But the green is what is letting this down big time. I don't like it whatsoever, and it just looks out of place. I don't think they will rock up to every single race with the green, though. I think that would just look a bit odd. So that will probably change as the season goes on. But yeah, Ferrari is a nice livery, apart from the green, which just puts it in average. Otherwise, it would be great, that's for sure. Moving on to the next one, which I don't even need to talk about, because you all know that this was bought out, and you wouldn't even tell that this was an American F1 team, because as soon as I saw this car, the Soviet Union national anthem started playing in my head. Yeah, not that it's not the designer's fault. I feel like they've just been sent a design to just try and make it look as Russian as possible, and all I have to say is, get in the bin. Moving swiftly on then, that aside, we don't need to discuss any more about that one, because I think you all know what I was going to do with that. Anyway, McLaren. This is quite a controversial one, because this is the one that I was most disappointed by, I think. Just the lack of change. This one changed even less than the Red Bull, and that again is saying something, because Red Bull's livery very rarely evolves. Only the true nerds would be able to spot anything different on the McLaren livery, and I am one, and I barely notice any differences apart from maybe a couple of sponsors on the side pod. Apart from that, there's nothing to show, you know, the recognition of the new partnership with the Mercedes engine or anything. There's not even grey, it's just exact same orange and blue. Quite literally a Control-C of last year's car. You know, Daniel Ricciardo, Lando Norris, that's a really, really high quality driver lineup. But their car is just exactly the same, and it just really disappointed me. However, so the disappointment is marking it down. The actual livery itself is alright, which is why it's going in average. You know, I don't mind the orange and blue. It's very unique, that's for sure. But again, it's not like massively different. Well, it's not different at all to last year's livery, and that's just gonna let it down a lot. So that aside, let's move on to Mercedes. And you can see now, I'm going to move the Mercedes right up to Peng, and I've got a special reason for that. I absolutely loved the black Mercedes last year. I loved the direction that Mercedes went with that. It looked absolutely wonderful, and it was a nice change from the silver. But again, we saw with the 2019 W10 that, you know, there was a bit of black creeping in there right at the back end of the car, you know, underneath the rear wing. But last year it emerged with a full, you know, blacked out livery. It was lovely. And again, they've done it again. They've absolutely blown my mind this year of Mercedes. It's just a perfect balance of black. You know, we've got the turquoise green, whatever you want to call it, Petronas, you know, sponsors. You know, we've got the red of Ineos, you know, on the front wing, and, you know, you can see above sort of the cockpit area. And again, behind the red Ineos and, you know, next to the rear wing area, we've got the, you know, a bit more silver and white, you know, the proper Mercedes legacy, because they are the Silver Arrows, of course. That's what they're known for. Even though their car is now black, they will probably still always be known as the Silver Arrows. And for one reason, they are quick, and they will probably continue to be quick in 2021. But again, they've got, you know, a bit of AMG spam again in the white. I think that's actually quite nice. The number font, though, I preferred last year, I will be honest, but that's really not a massive thing to talk about. it's still a very nice car, and I do really very much like it. Moving on now to Red Bull. Now, Red Bull, I'm quite happy to say, has not changed very much. Perez has brought in a couple of new sponsors which are visible on the front wing, but I can't remember what they are. The main change for that, though, is obviously the removal of Aston Martin on the rear wing, which has been replaced by the Honda branding, because Aston Martin, of course, now have their own F1 team. I'm really glad Red Bull don't change their livery. I'll be honest, I really like it, you know, in general, as it is. The dark blue, you know, mixed with the yellow and the red. It looks very, very sort of sleek, and I do like it. It's very, very nice as it is. However, it would be nice to see a few differences here and there, like maybe with a bit of purple, you know, like they used to have on the Infinity livery sort of back in, you know, 2014-ish. You know, they kind of haven't had that for a few years. So even if they just mixed it up a little bit each year, that would be very, very nice. But I'm really not bothered. The Red Bull, it's a great livery, and I like it just as it is. And finally, to finish off today's video, we have the Williams, which, I'll be honest, looks exactly like something out of Motorsport Manager. Lots of people have pointed that out, and I saw that, you know, in both Arava and TM at Marduk's videos. I'm actually using Arava's template, but I have changed it a bit. But anyway, moving on, it looks exactly like something out of Motorsport Manager, and it's not very inventive. However, this for me was the one I was most surprised about, the dramatic change in livery, because obviously last year's car, you know, just the ordinary, you know, white and blue, whereas this year they've really gone back to sort of classic Williams, you know, with the main colour being blue and obviously a bit of white here and there, you know, back, you know, when they had drivers like Nigel Mansell, yeah, but it's really nice-ish, or it would be very nice if they kept it plain, and here's where I'm about to criticise it, and here comes the hate. Yeah, I think it's garbage. I still, even after a week of seeing it, I'm not really sure how I feel about this car, but I just think the fact that there's a lack of sponsors means that they have a chance to be flexible with the livery, make it look smart. But I think what they did is they rushed in to try and make it look really bold too quickly, and there's just too much on there. And it stands out as being a very distinctive car, but I'm just not really a massive fan of it, I'll be honest. That's why I'm putting it in garbage alongside the Haas. That's basically it, really. That's sort of the main reason why we're doing that. But anyway, there we go. I don't really have much more to say. There are your 10 F1 cars. However, we're not quite finished there, because we need to look at the safety cars. Now, this is a very, very interesting talking point of this video. We obviously have two new safety cars for 2021. We have a gorgeous looking green Aston Martin Vantage, and obviously we have the Mercedes kept from last year, but in a very striking new vibrant red livery. Both of these would go in Peng. They're both absolutely wonderful. However, unfortunately, I don't have a picture of them to go on the thing, so I'm just going to explain my viewpoint instead. I think the new safety cars are absolutely lovely. Both of them. I can't wait to see them out on track. You know, I've seen a little bit of running of them again in pre-season testing. They look really nice. They sound awesome. And again, I just cannot wait for this season because, you know, there's such a big variety in striking car liveries, team rebrands. I think this is going to be a great season. And, you know, obviously with so many, you know, sort of different liveries and cars, the safety cars as well that are both really nice, I think we're going to be in for a great year. But anyway, guys, with that said, that's the end of today's video where I've ranked all the 2021 F1 liveries. Please remember to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Remember, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and join my Discord server. The link is in the description to both of them. There's frequent uploads about all of my videos on there. Don't forget to stay tuned for my next video if you enjoyed this one, which is my 2021 predictions. So again, this is another different video coming up. Thanks very much for watching. I've been Spitfire Gaming, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.